Writers, based on some recent comments I've seen, I feel like I need to clarify something with you. When editors say something like, this prose is purple, or it's overwrought and needs to be pared back, we are not saying that there's no longer any room for beauty or lyricism in novel writing, especially in commercial fiction. Rather, what's usually happening is that you're trying to write poetically and we can see that, but you're missing the mark. This mark gets missed in one of two ways. The first is clarity, because if you're writing commercial fiction and a reader cannot figure out what you're trying to say in a paragraph, that's a problem. That doesn't mean you can't use $5 words. It doesn't mean that the writing can't be complex or that it can't use simile or metaphor or have second meanings. But if a reader with advanced reading comprehension, for example an editor, reads a paragraph and goes, that is word salad, that's not what you want. The words may be beautiful, but prose is a storytelling vehicle. If the reader cannot understand the storytelling because the prose is so opaque, that is a problem. The second reason you might be getting red lines from your editor is brevity. If you want to write poetically, the people you should be taking the most inspiration from are poets. Great poets are word wizards. They can build these beautiful images. Their words are incredibly lyrical, but at the same time, they manage to convey meaning and power and emotional resonance in such an incredibly short space. One of the reasons you might be getting dinged for purple or overwrought prose isn't the content or the words themselves, but the volume. Rather than being incredibly specific and precise and choosy with your imagery, and when you lean into that poeticism and lyricism, you're doing it for everything, describing every leaf on the tree, every tree in the forest. Effectively, you're not editing. And by doing so, you're pushing the story itself to the background, rather than using that beautiful prose as a vehicle to bolster the story. You see what I mean? I love beautifully written lyrical prose, but there is a point at which that lyricism can take away from the story. And it's when the opacity gets so great that the meaning is lost, or the volume is so great that the story gets buried. Purple isn't meant to be an insult. It's a cue from an editor saying, hey, you're doing a little bit too much here, and it's overwhelming your writing. If you pare back just a little, both your story and the beauty of your prose will be able to shine.